One of the most popular events in the Bible is when Peter climbs out of the boat and walks on water. There are images of this event all over churches and social media alike, but the vast majority of those portrayals show a different picture than the biblical account. Let's walk through this together. In Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 31, "But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, 'It is a ghost.' And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, 'Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid.' And Peter answered him and said, 'Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water.' So he said, 'Come.' And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, 'Lord, save me.' And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, and said to him, 'O you of little faith, why did you doubt?' And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased." When we dig into the details, we see that the disciples are fighting against strong winds while 3 to 4 miles from land. Several of these men are fishermen, Peter included. We know that Peter can swim because after the resurrection, Peter will leap from the boat and swim about 300 feet to shore. During this event, it's the middle of the night, and in those days, it was believed that ghosts walked on the water at night. This explains why they were so afraid when there's someone walking on the water. When Peter calls out to Jesus, he thinks he's the one testing Jesus, but soon he'll find out that actually, he's the one being tested, his faith put on the line. The always impulsive Peter, well, he listens to the call and steps right out of the boat, walking on that angry sea. We don't really know how far he managed to walk, but at some point, Peter takes his eyes off his Savior and starts focusing on just how dangerous his situation is. That's when Peter begins to sink, and he truly believes he's about to die. In this terrifying moment, Peter cries out for Jesus to save him. Now, for an experienced fisherman to think he was going to die, that tells us those waters were very rough. We often look at Peter and say, if only he had more faith. But we don't really criticize any of the other disciples who never even dared to step out in faith. Why is that, I wonder? Alright, so let's put this all together for a moment. Jesus sent the disciples out, but as we can see, Jesus has kept his eyes on them the whole time. He was nearby in their time of need and during the storm, not just after it was over. Jesus asked his follower to step into a situation that defies all logic. Then Jesus even lets him sink until he thinks he's going to die. So, how does this apply to our own lives? When we're in a trial of faith, life is going to be rough and hard, and, honestly, we're going to be driven to the point where we believe we'll lose it all. That is, unless Jesus steps in. If we call out to him, we will be saved. But if we don't, we will drown. It's only after the trial that the storms of life will calm, and that's when true peace is found. Thank you for watching. For full messages on this and other topics, please follow us at the Canton Covenant Group channel. Thank you, and have a blessed week.